Thank
Great
you so
man.
much for having me on this lovely podcast to
Heck
have a
yeah.
chat about life and stuff. Because I'm usually the interviewer, now I'm the interviewee, so it'd be good. I can already tell the energy. All you Americans are fantastic with energy. I'll tell you right now.
We are nuts, right?
Yeah, bloody oath, mate. So yeah, go to like I went to Las Vegas, and that's another planet
Oh, that's
altogether.
a
But
whole, that's a world of its own.
it is, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we with regards to the awakening process, which I'll talk
Yeah.
about. I am the awareness I've gained the last 5-6 years. It's going over to another country when you've got a great country, but there's definitely two sides to it, and
Oh yeah.
with and what I do is I analyze a lot. I'll go a very deep thinker now, even more of a deep thinker since I woke up. Well, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say woke up, but had the awakening process and talking to a lot of you guys. And as I said, we love Americans and Canadians, and you guys love us. Just even talking about they want to find out what's going on in Australia, what's happening down here, and they know a lot what's happening. So obviously, I'm not sure who you voted for or whatever, but we're all Trump supporters down here. So we have no hope down here because of our lovely leader. And I
Mm,
can and I'll keep it to that because I can go right off about it. But that's why we love the great man Trump, because we believe that he's got some hope for us. Not to say he's going to be the be all and end all,
yeah.
but when you have no hope down here, absolutely no hope, and we can go
Yeah.
into that later. You look for someone to, you know, not rule, but just actually give us a chance down here because we've got no hope down here.
Yeah. I love that you are even just like bringing this up off the bat because this is something that I definitely wanted to touch on this. I mean, I love the fact, well, can go into it more,
Yeah,
but
sure,
the group that
absolutely.
you're in, the justice group that you're in, and just the fact that it exposes the elites and the government. I mean, I love that in itself. I did not vote this year, and there is a bazillion reasons why I didn't. And I know that ruffles a lot of feathers for a lot of people. I think they see it as being very unpatriotic, but um for me, it's gotten to a point where I'm looking at the system as a whole. I will say Trump does expose a lot of things that needed to be exposed. And I pray for that man every day because he's going to be running this country. And if the thing is he's going to be in a position where there's going to be a lot to deal with. A lot's going to be on his plate,
Hmm.
but because of so many people waking up to some things, he has he's in such a good place to be able to run with that and do good with it. I'm praying that's what he does. Um, there's also a bazillion red flags, if you ask me. I think it's important to consider all sides of anyone in any situation at all times.
Yep.
And I don't know how much you know about the whole Epstein case,
Oh, I
but
know. Wait. Well, I'm telling you, you don't
it,
realize how deep dive I'm into this stuff. I
yeah,
swear,
just seeing
it's
the
it's
closeness that Trump and Epstein share, that alone just it raises red
let,
flags.
let me put it this
Oh,
way, Alex. The way I look at it first, and this is all personal, where I've grown with my awakening process, which we'll go into later. But the whole point of it is, with your awakening process, you become aware of a lot of other things and be connected. In the way of looking at what the government wants. Now, this is how I do it because a lot of people they get what's the word for it? They get into it to a point, but they don't, because of the fact we've got tall poppy syndrome in this country, which is basically people love to know each other's business, people love to tear people down, and people love to look at someone who's doing well and I said and tell them how bad they are, and that's the way it is. Just to go back on your topic about your voting, why you didn't vote. I don't judge that because in Australia we have no choice but to vote. Now, when you're aware, Ali, you can look at both sides. You can actually step back and look at both sides. And my best mate, who has mentored me through my process, I'm starting to think like him, and he's starting to laugh. I've actually taken a point with regards to the voting system. With that, I don't judge you for what you did, because if you're not sure, you've got the choice to vote, which is fine. In here we don't. Now, why I ask you the question, and you probably look at it, why would you vote in Australia if you don't understand the politics of what's going on? Now, we've got a two-party system. It's a load of bullshit, right? Because they're there because corrupt as all buggery, right? I can tell you a few things in a minute. But why a friend of mine said, why are you voting if you have no idea? You have an idea, but why people just go in there, oh, I'll vote for him, I'll vote for him. That's it. They don't realize that there's another lot of parties. Like, I'm involved with a couple of senators around here. I've got connections to senators here who are independent, who are people first. I'm going to throw the name in, Jared Rennick, Senator Jared Rennick. Okay, a very close friend of mine, Madison King in Western Australia, she's going to go for federal politics this next year. Now, I know exactly where they're at. They're people first, but we've got a case of, why would you vote if you don't understand? People just go to vote because I have to. Oh shit, I'm going to go and vote. Whereas you guys have the choice. So it's two different polarities, if you get where I'm going.
Absolutely. And I will say I
Yep.
voted for RFK to get put on the ballot in Texas. And I mean
I love Texas.
I wanted to vote. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people won't agree with me on this, but I absolutely think that RFK's campaign was just squashed from the beginning. I think he had no chance in terms of I know too much about how the campaigns work and what money will do and who can pay off who and who can be
Ali,
success. And
can I jump in on that
I
for
just
just
love
one
that
thing?
man.
I'll give you. Here's where I live. Right, you've got the two-party preferred here, right? Labor, Liberal, blue and red, right? They've put into the Constitution, if you're a new party, you can only spend up to $800,000 on your campaign. What the hell is that?
That's
And
insanity.
these buggers here, oh yeah, we'll go 23 million, we'll put 10 million to
Right.
advertising to make
Yes.
myself look popular. We're sick of looking at your bloody head anyway, mate. So you got 800,000 on cap. What? Yeah. Oh, this is called consumerism and capitalism and all. Yeah, that's called corruption, mate. It's all freedom of trade, mate.
That's
All
right.
right.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. And people don't know this shit, mate.
I mean, that's the thing. It's that it's the vastness and like how deep the corruption goes and how, I mean, it's so widespread and in big ways and little ways. Talking of funds of campaigns, a lot of people would think that's a little thing, like, but there's a million things like that going on, and it's like Harris wasn't even elected in; she was appointed in.
Oh,
I
I could
mean,
go on about that.
I mean, I just,
Oh,
Jay,
oh,
we're talking about like it's directly in our face at this point, and
oh, Ali, can I just say
and
to you, do you reckon, right? Anyway, we're interviewing each other. This is good. We're interviewing
do
each
it.
other.
Let's
I
do
can't
it.
help it.
Let's get
I'm
into
like you. This is great. I love it.
it.
Okay. I look at it, and there's stuff there. Are really people that are asleep? I
But
mean,
Jay, the thing is, and you know this, the system is created to keep us so busy and so distracted that we don't see it, and it has worked very well.
there's so much stuff that propaganda, and I went propaganda and fake news. I mean, Trump uses the word fake news. We damn well know this. I went to
Yes.
Hollywood, right? Now, this is how I went. Now, you'll get this. I went to Hollywood, right? I walked down, say, about 2 mile. I'll call it 2 mile, well, a mile or so away from Hollywood Boulevard, right? So I walked down this street, and there's a market, beautiful market, mate, awesome people there, happy, selling their products and stuff, right? 10 mile up the road, you got the buggers who are you got millions and millions of dollars living in the bloody hills, right? 10 miles away. What the hell is going on? Think
Yeah.
about it. You're
Yes.
10 miles away, you're living in this bubble, right?
Yes.
And I'm going, do you really? I think a lot of people are just enjoying they really enjoy what they do there. and except what you and me are doing. I'm so grateful to be here. You got no idea. So I look up and I go to the hills and I see. I mean, we've all been part of propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I love. Yeah, I'll go and see. You know, yeah, go and see Wasp and all that. Go and see Kiss and all those kind of things, and we're consuming all the time as well. But we're aware when we're consuming. But have a look at what's happening over there. They're just laughing all the way. You know, you got all these corporate entities working, and you know, I know the scandal. I know the Diddy scandal. I know what's going on. All
Yeah,
right, I know there's more to it, but it's really
absolutely.
weird you say that when you got Trump coming in, right? And then you got bloody celebrities going, oh, I don't want him, man. He's a bloody misogynist and all this bloody shit, you know, all that. Which look, no one's perfect. We've both done stuff in the past we're not proud of, but at the time when you're actually speaking, they're using that against instead of you fighting with their policy. Exactly what we're talking about with the blue brand, as I
Yes.
call
Yes, they're distracting us. We're not even talking about policies. And there's so much hypocrisy in that. Again, Bill Clinton is also or was
it.
also
Oh
friends with
God, let's
Epstein.
start on that one. Oh my
Let's
God.
talk about him and Monica in the Oval Office that we just
Oh my
all
God.
forgot about. I mean, it's the issues that they're bringing forward about Trump, I agree with, but guess what? I see that across the board and have for decades. That's what I can't wrap my mind around. It's like the hypocrisy is insane to me.
Well, this is the thing we know about I'll call it the pokeroo, right? Me and my best mate. Thanks very much, Mr. Cortez Medford. Love you, mate. He was talking a little bit about that as well. Like it's it's just we were saying about how people are not just it's in your face, Ali. I
Yes.
mean, you just I was over there for the campaign before the assassination attempt, right?
Hmm.
Just after. And I look at it and I've just gone, how can people not be waking up to this stuff and
Yeah.
seeing what they do? What is the psyche of people? This is where we talk about our awakening process and our vibration. And you and me are fighting the vibration. I fucking love it, eh? Sorry if sorry to
You're
swear there.
good. You're all good.
Oh, good. Sorry, yeah, I do
YouTube
swear
hates
a bit.
this channel. It's fine.
Oh no, all right, yeah, yeah. Well, we're going to what me and my little freedom fighter group are into anyway. But um, as I said, just looking at what was happening there, and I mean, being awake and looking and seeing what the media do. I mean, you know, I mean, Trump's talking. This the thing is, he's talking fact. No one's perfect. He's a businessman. He does what he does. You know, he doesn't pay tax. Yeah, fine. What about all the others?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I mean the whole thing it's just so it's offensive at this point. I mean, the Harris's campaign raised $1 billion, and we have an
She went into $20 million debt for crying out loud.
there's that. I mean, but a campaign with $1 billion set aside, not paying everybody $1 billion, and we have veterans with missing limbs
Limbs.
homeless on our street.
Mate, we've
Like
got 10 cities
this
upstairs. We got
this
nothing
is
but 10
insanity.
cities.
It's insanity. And how we don't like I don't get it. We leave our own men behind and we do it on our own soil all day, every day. And then people want to come at me talking about being a patriot and vote into this system. And it's like I can't put my name behind any of this.
That's
I
fair.
would
I know,
rather
but
get a mic and get on the internet and talk about it.
that's exactly right. I think it's free. It's freedom of choice and freedom of speech. And my belief is, I mean, we've already connected. I already know this because the vibration that you're at and what I'm at and what you can attract. And this is what we're talking about. We look at when you become awake. They use these fucking catchwords, woke and awake and all this bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Life coaches is the best one.
Yeah.
I'll go into that later. Yeah,
Consciously aware, just observant.
that's exactly
You
it.
can
So we're
see
looking
what's
at that.
happening.
That's exactly it. We see what's happening, but I think what we're finding out here, especially the last 6 months, it's a case of exactly what you're doing. We're just what the hell? What's going on? Why aren't people waking up? I reckon there's a lot more people who are, but we need leaders like you and me who are speaking about it, and people are willing to follow. There's no doubt about it, and that's fine. It's like Robin Hood. Robin Hood led the merry men against the elite. It's
Yeah.
people like you and me, and we're very grateful to have what we have. We've got the internet. We've got these beautiful things well, you've got some beautiful books down there. I've got some books as well, and I've got stuff that I enjoy looking at every single day. Why can't we enjoy that and not have it used against us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the
Yeah.
key. And that's where the key thing is. And it's been happening for years. Only, as I said to you, really only wake up and understand it when you go through a process. As I said, when I had I'll call it breakdown or whatever you want to call it, or lost me shit, whatever you want to say. Once you have that and you all sort of come out, you do see the world differently.
Absolutely.
It's like having a rebirth. You're having a death within you. There's a lot more spiritual stuff that we can go on about, but when you have, and we talk about the death of the person, death of the soul, it's a case of walking through death of the soul, to walk through the forbidden door to go to where you are now and have a voice like you are now. And and I am, and that's what we want a lot more people to do. But I think people are scared to speak up in some ways, so they don't know how, or they don't understand the process. What do you think?
You have hit the nail on the head if you ask me. If anything, this case with Luigi, it screams that we actually are awake. Look at the response to it. We're all on the same page. I don't think any of us know where to even begin. Again, like if I tell people I didn't vote, their first reaction is, "Well, then what if we all just don't vote? Then what?" And I love that because yes, then what? That this is where we need to get. We need to get to a place where we all agree that there are issues. So now what? So now what are we going to do? This is how natural born leaders like Martin Luther King rise. I think we are at a time either we're going to wake up and we're going to figure it out, or we're going to be forced to wake up to figure it out. And I don't think that's going to look pretty.
I don't think it's going to happen. I personally think that a lot, especially with what you're doing now. As I said, we're meant to be here right now. Christmas Day for me, Christmas Eve for you. We're supposed to be here right now talking, right?
Yeah,
And as I
absolutely.
said, yeah, I reckon, and we've got and our information that we're going to get out. But the thing is, with people at the moment, I always, you remember the game The Sims? Have you seen the game
Yes.
The Sims? Yeah,
Yes.
that's it.
Yes,
That
that's
is that
it.
is that is that is it in a nutshell. But I think what the thing is too, you've got to look that people have been distracted in a lot of ways. But I think people look, we know about this. As I said, I'm going to go a bit sort of wacky tobacco, sort of spiritual, if you want to call it. I like using
Please
those
feel free.
terminologies. So those terminology, but we're talking about the age of Aquarius now.
Yeah.
I'm a very black and white person. So age of Aquarius from age of Pisces into age of Aquarius. So basically, age of Aquarius is the exposure. Now the exposure for this is basically myself and this lovely lady here. We're going and we're living in our hearts, in our heart space, which is about our pure self. My belief is that people living in the ego their ego is fighting them at the moment. Okay. Now, these guys who are including these people who are in power because they know what's going on, they are more aware than what you give, more spiritually aware of
Yes.
what's going on the planet than
Yes.
what you and that we know that no one knows because we've been disconnected from the earth, as far as I'm concerned. I always say that humans are exactly like animals, except we think too much. So we have a connection to the earth. Now, if you go back to the pagans, you can talk about when the pagans connected, then the Christians came and they burnt witches at the stake because they were like witches, but witches are not that. It's about the energy of everything in this world, right? Everything has energy. But we're at the end of the day, we've been disconnected spiritually from the earth. Okay. And that's why people aren't connecting. In the spiritual realm that there is, people aren't understanding it or think it's wacky tobacco stuff because we're disconnected from it. And this is where we're starting to get that fight back, which we're doing now with the pushback from people like you and me. And the internet is part of it, but we are fighting the greater good. It's Robin Hood versus the rest of the world. And that's the way it is. And we've got to just basically pick people up because there are a lot of people who are on this. But unfortunately, we've got people in power which are pushing like distractions and minorities, which is fine, and trying to divide and conquer.
The biggest thing for me where I'm at, like, I don't know how much you know about Trump not being really I don't think the deep state has a hold on him, at least not yet. I don't think he's been sworn
I
into
I
any of
agree with that.
that.
Yeah, I
And I
agree.
think
But
they're terrified of that. And that's what I mean by he could do some really good things. He enough of us are awake where if he wanted to really get a hold of things and do what was best for the people, he could. I don't know if he will do that. We will only time
exactly,
will tell.
exactly right.
There's also a million people that are clearly out for him. And I mean, I don't wish death upon anyone. And I pray that doesn't happen. But I mean, a million things could play out. He could do great things. He could be hurt tomorrow. And I don't even mean by someone else. He could get COVID tomorrow. I mean, look at Biden, if that's even really what happened to him. But you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, well,
There's a
who was right?
million things that
Who was
that
running the
could play
country?
out.
Hey,
So
Callie, who was running the country for the last 4 years?
exactly, who voted for the World Economic Forum?
Ah,
For those people.
yeah, World
How
Health
are they running
Organization.
everything
What?
and no one even knows who's in it?
I'll tell you the funniest meme I saw, right? This because obviously us being fit and healthy and living our lives the way we are spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally, and all that stuff that we say. I have a look at people who are health officers. Oh, it was funny. The health officers, the health ministers of America have gone, and they're just gone, right. So if I know who's Trump, I know who Trump's putting in a fit male, but I saw the previous one.
Right, right.
Okay, all I'll say is even the British one, Boris Johnson's mate. He's another idiot. I mean they're an advertisement for friggin' trans fats and bloody sugars, mate. There you go. Probably all for the fast food companies, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even
Get with
touched
them.
on food and water, and I mean, we're talking about our basic needs here. They are like we are.
It's a joke, isn't it?
How does anyone think this is working? I mean, I don't. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. We can't
What
even
about
drink our
Canada?
water.
Well,
What's
what
up?
about Canada? How's this one? Right? This is
Canada's a mess.
this is a beaut. Yeah, we love Trudeau. Not okay. My beautiful Canadian friends, hello. How's this one? Right? So Canada, oh Canada, oh free. Right? They've got so they've got I think it's about roughly 60 to 70% of the amount of trees in the world on that scale. They've got the most trees per capita in their country, right? You've been to Canada. I mean, I'm not sure if you've been to Canada, but anyway,
Or have.
yeah, you get
Won't
it,
go
right? So
back.
here we go.
I'm
So
good. Way too cold
carbon,
for me.
carbon, what's his name? Carbon Tex or whatever, Carbon Carney or whatever his name is. They call him Pierre. So he tried to put a carbon tax in Canada, and because I was there when it happened, I've just gone what? And then this guy got on TikTok. He's expert. He goes, so you like to put carbon tax. So what do trees do, ladies and gentlemen? And we have X amount. We have 70% of the world's trees, I think he said. And we know what trees do. Why the hell were you putting a carbon tax on, Mr. Trudeau? You clown.
I mean,
And
that's
yeah,
crazy.
that got wind in Canada, and they've gone. This is where people don't understand, Ali.
Tax alone, fine. Let's just say the only option is to pay tax. Let's just say that's the only way we're going to get through life. Okay.
Paying taxes,
We
just
don't
put it
even
to.
know where they're going.
I
We
know where
don't
it's going
even
in Australia.
we don't have a clue.
Going to
We
war.
think we know. Yes, that's more than clear. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just insanity. All these people that are paying all this money to taxes are sitting here, they don't have health care.
This is insanity, right? This is what we live in. This is the circus act that's the ringmaster circus that we've got running our country, right? This bloody guy looks like Elmer Fudd, right? Anyway, so he's got this nice beach house with his new woman. I'll go into that later. Yeah, right. So anyway, they've got a report out, and I want to give shout out to my mate Rids from Sydney, one of my very close friends, who found this out. Apparently, he decided to use the taxpayer money to do his driveway.
Sounds about right.
He's got a beautiful mansion to live his love life in his dream life because he was, I was brought up in the slums of Wentworthville. I was a fighter. Yeah, mate. If you're a fighter, mate, you understand what's going on instead of trying to take
Right.
everything. If you are struggling to that point and you come up and go, I'm going to do things for Australia and not myself. Okay, you don't want people to live like you did, and you make that point, which is fine, but you do the exact opposite by going and charging $70 million or whatever the hell it was to go and fix up your little property around your house that you're going to have a $300,000 retirement package for the rest of your life, and
Right.
run away with your bloody woman that you're with, and then probably go and get a corporate job at some university, get another $1 million. That I've found out that bloody universities don't pay tax. He's so corrupt, Ellie. We can go on
Yes.
forever and ever.
It's truly endless. People just don't, even if they're aware of like the things on the surface, it's so deep. The tentacles are so wide.
System that we've gone into is you can't have a conversation. You can't have a conversation to people about anything because they get offended at the first set. But I find I have more conversation with my beautiful friends over in America and Canada than what I can here. You say one thing, you're gone here, right? You go, oh, you're this, you're that. Okay, that's what happens in this country. You can't have a decent conversation, a respectful, decent conversation with someone. I had people who were Harris supporters that I was talking to. I had a great conversation. They said, well, thank you so much for having a chat. I go, look, this is where we are. And the thing is, when you become awake, Alan, you know yourself, as I said, we're having this chat now. I could have gone off and go, why the hell didn't you vote? I mean,
Right.
some people go off about that.
Yeah, and I get it. I do understand
But you
their
don't have to,
their
though,
point of
Alan. You don't
view.
have
But
to.
I do. Again, I wanted to vote. I wanted to. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
what I'm saying is that's your
I went to the
choice.
University of Maryland, but the very first time, the very first year I could vote was when Obama was running. And I was so excited about the change he was going to bring. I skipped class with my boyfriend, went to the inauguration. Like I
Wow.
grew up. I could throw a rock at DC from my bedroom window. I mean, this politics, it's in my blood. Like we'll put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I do understand that point, that side. I understand, I get it. Like, but to get angry with me or not to hear me out as to whys, and I haven't even begun to scratch the surface on that.
Do it one day. What do you reckon?
Not absolutely. This will not be the last one.
Well, I
But
can just tell by
to
that.
not be
Absolutely.
able to even just say where you're at without it turning into an argument is crazy. I'm kind of surprised to hear you say you have been able to talk to so many Americans about this with it
Well,
going
probably because, Ali, because I come from Australia, and I think that comes again going back to a spiritual teaching, and that's what I do. I do motivational coaching now. So basically, just quickly, instead of being a life coach, which there's issues there, it's motivation. I've always got the energy, so I want people to live their best life. So I'm going to teach them what I learned and guide them on their way and basically to get to their best purpose, best self. So that's just an overview of what we do. But getting back to what it is, I think you come across as what the person that you decide to do. As I said, being a stoic individual, like all those people back in the Greek ancient Greek times that didn't rule with an iron hand; they ruled with an iron heart or
on.
a good heart. But they were learning each day, like you and me. We're learning each day about how to be stoic, how to have a conversation, how to protect your energy, how to stop all this ego driven opinions that people go. How do you stop being triggered? How do you get into a state of balance? And me and my best mate, we always talk about this. It's even into the going into relationships, looking at what relationships mean. Men and women together, or whatever you decide to do it. So I don't have a problem with it. As I said, depending on who you decide to love, it doesn't matter who it is. You're having a conversation or having a relationship, a deep relationship on another level with that person. So you've got to be able to communicate in that way. But you have to have respect for yourself. You can go about people pleasing and all those things. But getting back to the talking, I think when I come across, I've always come across as a person who's fair, a person who's willing to chat and don't judge. I might go off, don't I'm a bloody cancer. I mean, I can go right off. Okay. And that's why I don't. She's laughing, she knows.
I know a couple of
Well,
cancers that will.
what star sign are you?
A Scorpio.
Of course you are. That's
Through
why we
and
get on
through.
so that's why we get on so well.
Right? Yes.
Cancers, Scorpios, Pisces.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
Water.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I think cancers are very, and depending, obviously you got an astrological chart, but and depending what kind of person you are and what you brought onto this earth, if you can embrace that, because if you and step back and actually kill your ego, which is very bloody hard to do, mind you, you can have these conversations. I had a conversation with a Kamala Harris supporter in Houston when I was there, and I'll talk about that in a second because that's very, very relevant. I talked to her, and she came across and was speaking about her experiences, why she votes that way. Now, there's a lot of stuff with regards to the personal opinions, so-called personal opinions of Trump, which is fine, but that's why she doesn't go. And I said to her, look, this is what happened. This is why we're so supportive of him. And I'll tell her, she goes, oh, okay, fair enough. But why can't people have more of that?
Absolutely.
What do you reckon?
I well, going back to what you were saying about leading with an iron heart, I've got so much to say with that. But if you ask me, I think we have just gotten we're distracted, we're consumed, and we're just so busy, and we're constantly living in fear and the next step and what if, and we're so
Where does that
disconnected
start,
from our
Ellie?
heart
I'm going
space.
to ask you quickly, but I'll jump in. Where does that start?
Where does
Where
what
did we
start?
start that? Sorry, where did we
The
start that
disconnect?
mentality? Schools.
I mean, a million things. Schools is one of the best ways for that.
This is
Yes.
what I'm saying to you.
It
Yeah,
took
sorry to
it
interrupt
it
you there.
took off on another level. I mean, if you think we're like herds of cattle just sitting in a classroom all being indoctrinated to the same exact information. I mean, there's a million things. The media, we get our news from the same exact from a box in our living room. We all sit down and just we think this is it. They could
The
feed us
six.
anything they could tell us anything they wanted to. Like the if we just take a step back and look at like the makeup of things, it's like of course we got God. Like it was all set up that way. The whole system, the system is not broken, it is rigged. The system is working great. It's just not in our favor.
Have a look at debt, right?
Yes.
Have a look at debt right now. Victoria is run by a bunch of bloody clowns, right? Most lockdown city in Australia. Good on you, Danny boy. Yeah, good on you. No comment. We'll leave it at that for now. But you go, where are you getting your money from? Now you're going. Apparently, they're putting up $100 million of something like $10 million of debt a day. Now, where the hell is that money coming from? And I always have to question, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. You got money in your bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the money? Where is the money coming from? Okay, to keep sustain us. Why are we in so? Who are we in debt to, ladies and gentlemen?
That's
Think
right.
about it.
That's right. That's
Think
absolutely
about
right.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Federal Reserve, ladies and gentlemen, they're sitting there. They're sitting there singing Yankee Doodle Dandy, mate, with the amount of interest they make. And
Yeah.
interest is another thing. Made fabricated interest. Let's talk about that one.
I mean, all of it. It's how we do not see that. I mean, printing money. all of it. Like nothing that we're
Money
seeing
means nothing. It's
out
not backed by
makes any
anything,
sense,
Ally.
and it's not helping us. Like, why do we all have debt? Why do we all have to budget? The Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in how long? Like the Federal Reserve couldn't be any more corrupt. Like, like
Oh,
the whole thing makes zero sense. The US is in so much debt. Like we're like
trillions of
the
dollars of
math
debt.
isn't mathing. We can't get out of that. Like
Well,
what
there's
do we
one way you
do?
can get out of it. One way. Push a button and reset.
Yes, and
But we're going to that.
yes, because that
Yeah.
yes, we do need a reset, but the reset that they would implement would turn into a world order, and it's like we do need a reset, but like the
No,
globe, if it's coming from the World Economic Forum, we need to run for our lives. We the people who, to your point, who do we owe debt to? We are the ones working. We are the ones funding
this
everything.
is a modern day
We
slavery,
we
my
have
friend,
all the power. Why are we giving the power away to
because
anyone?
we've been.
Republican, Democrat, anyone. We're the we're running the show. If we really took it, we haven't been, but if we took a step back, we would realize that we actually do run, we could so easily run the show, and it doesn't need to look like civil wars and like we have billions of brilliant minds walking this earth, Jay. We have free energy. We have
I
everything
agree.
we
I'm sitting there
possibly
going, yes, yes.
need. If we could just slow down, talk like grown adults, we could figure it out so easily.
I'll tell you how it works, right? This is my. I'm with you. I love this woman.
I
She's
know I'm chalking it up to make it sound like it's
no,
it's
you're not.
it's
You're
easier
telling the
than it is,
truth.
but I think we're heading to, if we let things going the way they're not sustainable. We see that. Like
No, you're
we
right.
we
We look at leaders, right? So a good leader respects the people that are under him, and then the people under him respect the leader or her. It doesn't matter. I go into that one too. Jesus Christ. Uh, um. So you look at someone who's in leadership, government to govern, right? Not to dictate.
That's
So
right.
people who can run, if you let people do what they have to do, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with consumerism. I earn the money. I love it. I live with it. I don't live by it, but I enjoy it. Right.
Yes, yes. Money
But
is great. Things are great. But what it's turned
you're
into, the
using it against
corruption in
us.
it. Yes.
You can use the internet, but we'll keep you in debt. We'll
Yes. Yeah.
we'll line our own pockets. We know we line our own pocket. Or you don't know that. Yeah, well, you don't know that either, mate. But for God's sake, have a look at what's happening to you. I
Yeah.
tell people because I always say about the mirror. This is one of my things. I remove the mask, write my story. That's my book, right? A journey with Whitefeather. Remove the mask, write the story. Coming out to you very very soon. So I turn the mirror on upon myself and look at what's happening to me, right? Everyone's going, I don't understand politics. It's quite simple, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what the hell's happening to you. Are you struggling to pay? Are you, number one, struggling to pay your stuff, right? Number two, what the hell's going on with you working 75 million hours, not seeing your kids, going to chuck them in bloody childcare all the time? You
Right.
can't spend time with them. You can't spend time with your loved ones. There's something frigging wrong with that. Okay, there's
Absolutely.
nothing wrong with working and enjoying. I do a bit of teaching. I do obviously motivational coaching, all those kind of stuff you enjoy. You can be paid for fairly, no problem with that. You can, and it's called capitalism. Yes, capitalism. You can do that. Pay for what you want to pay for. Pay for what you value. No problem with that. Okay, but the point of the matter is, when it comes down to it, energy, food, petrol, shelter, which is the four essentials other than breathing, ladies and gentlemen, is fucking skyrocketing, and it's a load of shit. And
Yes.
everyone damn well knows it because they're all in with this our little bloody buddies up there who are bloody ripping us off. Simple as that.
The thing is that this holiday season feels so different than previous ones. I mean, if
What do you
you,
reckon?
there are families that aren't even spending holidays together because of politics.
What about women who are leaving their
What?
husbands? I've just woken up, and he's a Trump supporter. I'm going to leave him. Does it take that much for you to wake up and understand and love yourself, or do you have to get pushed that way?
I don't
Seriously,
understand how we don't see the divide and conquer. They are
100%.
dividing us. It is a div if we can't so clearly see that, we are, and what's nuts is that the again, Luigi's case shows us we want and need the same things. So why is there such this division? Why is there so much hate
There you
for
go.
each other when we want the same things? This is how 1% keeps 99% below them. This is how they stay in power. There's so many of us, they have to divide us in order to keep their status, their money, their power. I mean, all of like like
I
it
get you so more. I love it. Keep going.
I mean, I don't even I didn't think we were going to be going down this rant. I thought we were going to be talking about your spiritual awakening
We
and
are. We
love and
actually are,
light,
funny
and
enough.
no, I think this is coming up because it needed to come up. Here it is.
Wherever we need to be, Ali, we need to be. We need to talk what we need to talk. We need to trust in what,
Yes.
because trust in what we're saying. So keep going.
Yeah. So I don't even know where it was. Something I want to keep harping on is this whole thing that you said about um
Ruling by the heart and
ruling by the
not the
heart.
ego.
Going back to RFK, there are some things that have come to light. I'm an animal lover. He's done some weird things apparently with animals. I don't know. Like again, none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all human.
That's right.
But from what I have learned about him, and when I say learned, this I first found him years ago on a spiritual podcast that was actually removed from YouTube, and it was
Oh, really?
reshot. They refilmed the whole thing because it was removed. And this was long before, like years before he even ran. So this just goes to show what RFK's soul is on a journey, and he is aware. He is well aware of many things. I mean, his he's an environmental lawyer. That alone, he's looking at data all day long regarding things that actually matter in terms of our world, our environment. He's a Kennedy, for crying out loud. He can spit out dates and names and memories that are directly involved in politics like no one's business. He knows the journey of the soul. He has been on that with, like, he's been so intentional about it. I mean, I just felt like for the first time we actually had someone that was, it was just a different perspective. It felt, it wasn't the same old Democrat and Republican that we had seen this whole time. It felt like we actually had three options, or at least I thought we were going to have three options. Again, that got pushed down so quickly. But my whole thing is, the reason why I could get behind him was because of where he was leading from. He still talks from his heart. Listen to him. Just listen to the man for 2 seconds. Not on CNN, not the 10-minute clips that they're throwing in that make him look absolutely insane. Listen to the podcast that he's on. He knows what he's talking about, and his
What about
intentions are good.
where do you think? Okay, on that, where do you think? Do you think Trump's coming from the heart at the moment?
I think
Are you trusting that at the moment, or because I trust that at the moment? Um,
I think he saw his after his assassination attempt. I think we truly saw a softening there. I think
okay, yep,
that would open up anybody's eyes coming that close
absolutely.
to
Well, it's an
dying.
awakening process, Ali. That's all I know. What
Yes,
awakening
yes.
process? Yeah,
That's why I say I'm gonna just continue to pray for him to remain in that space. He's got people around him like Elon Musk that we have to keep in mind that every single one of us has an agenda, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It doesn't matter. If
yes,
you're a retired old
agreed,
man and your
agreed.
agenda is to get up and do nothing, great. That's still an agenda. It doesn't harm
Yes,
anybody, but it's an agenda. We all have one. And that's what I mean by things could so quickly turn at any moment. Trump could so easily, his ego could so easily get the best of him. He's close to a lot of people. He's building this whole team around him that could lead him down a path that isn't, for everyone's best interest. That could
Yes.
happen to any one of us at any given moment. We've got to be praying for each other. And when I say pray, that's not attached to any religion. It doesn't look like any one thing. I just mean simply wanting the best for each other, whoever that is, whether it's Trump or your neighbor or your sister sitting in front of you, whatever. We've got
Well,
to just like start coming from a place of love and understanding. We've
Well, this is
got
where
to.
so you want to talk about spiritual awakenings, right? Now
Yeah.
that to me is a very basic spiritual awakening. Now, two things happened to me. Now I had a pseudo stroke, right? This is
Yeah.
where it happened. So I had a breakdown, which a certain comment came at me, and I lost my shit, right? Because I was basically living in anxiety and cortisol, and looking over my back for so long, right? People please, all that shit. So I had that breakdown, had a pseudo stroke. I was driving to the doctors. My whole left side went. I was on the side of a road, curled up, went to the hospital, treated me for a stroke. That woke me up, right? So that started the process. But for what you're saying is, and then the next bit is when I went to Houston, I ended up in Hurricane Beryl. Now, this is where if you become spiritually awakened, or you are on a journey of self-discovery. I asked to be in a Native American sweat lodge. I love the Native American culture, right? I always have. I've followed it very high. I love the flutes. I love the rituals that they do. I got one of my healers, one of my closest friends, Red Horse from Native American Productions here in Melbourne. He helped me through my awakening process with his skills and gifts that he has spiritually. But I went to Hurricane Beryl, right? Asked for a sweat lodge. I got it because I was stuck in this room for, you know, 8 to 10 hours. Doors locked because the electricity is out, and they told me make sure your doors locked because you might have some people come in and say hello to you at night. We'll leave it at that. You can't open the window because of the mozzies, because of the diseases that could be through there, because there's no clean. It wasn't clean. Well, it was clean water, but you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And then you go in. All you've got is you, your mind, and your spirit. And you tell me if you don't regress. I regressed. I actually talked to my inner child for the first time. Everyone goes, I talked to my inner child. I actually spoke to it because I regressed back. I was standing at the window going, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. But then I went and laid 2 days. It took me at night. As soon as I went into that space. Lucky I had two close friends of mine now, English guy and a guy from the Dominican Republic, Barry and Dale. Thanks very much, boys. Yeah, we'll catch up one day. But on that note, why I said that is because the awakening process that we've had, or you use that to understand what's happening within you, so you can apply that and become a leader of the society like we are. And you understand this is where I'm at, and you have a bit more of an appreciation of what's happening, and then you can sort of rule with the hand of the heart. And it's not a case of being a people pleaser. There's a lot of arrogant, egotistical assholes that I know that I would love to do other things. If you get wrong, I'd love to wake them up. Go, come here, wake up. We'll leave it at that. The old, yeah, give you a little bit of a tap on the face. You know what I mean? We'll leave it at that. But to wake people up like that, and I think energetically as well, we give, like, we're giving this beautiful energy that we've got talking to each other. We want to give that to the rest of the world because that's what we need. As a white light, I end up having the issues and all that stuff. You're brought into this world with things you've got to work on, and you're put into situations to make you the greater person that you are right now in this minute. So that's basically, with me, it was people pleasing, having a self-confidence problem, having a fear of the world, having a fear of speaking up, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
The power of choice.
Mm.
You do have the power of choice.
Yes.
You make choices all the day. I wrote that I'm actually written a book, which I'm putting out, just an ebook for everyone to look. It's a free ebook, which I'm putting out, which is basically, it's called From Stroke to Motivational Coach, 15 lessons I received when I woke the fuck up. And one, you'll get one. Don't worry. I'll send you
Awesome.
the stuff. Don't worry. I'll send you some stuff. Don't worry. But that's the concept, isn't it? Like, the power of choice. We go back, and this goes back to basic spiritual laws that Wayne Dyer, Alan Watts, Carl Jung, all those great philosophers, all those ones that came and they try to teach us these things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter you're male or female. You're a human being at heart. That's the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, the power of choice is, and that, like, what we don't realize is like that we have a choice at every second, every single day.
You're choosing your words right now.
Yes. Yes. That
We
is
chose to be
life
here.
is nothing but choice.
Yeah, and what choices you make is depending on where you are in life.
That's right.
That's what we look at. Am I not wrong? We make different choices to different things. I'm a totally different person. We would not have had this conversation 3 to 4 years ago, even 2 years ago, of where we're at. Because
Right.
you evolve spiritually, vibrationally, frequently, and your frequency goes up, and you attract. And look, you attract the people that are on your vibration. You can see you and me, same vibration. I already know what's going to happen here. So no,
Two
you know
peas,
what's going
one
to happen.
pod.
Two peas, one pod, and regular podcast. I already know what's going to happen. I already see it. You know it too. This is a funny thing, But ladies and gentlemen, we have choice. And we've gone all. This is a very roundabout chat we've had. But I think choice is a very, very big thing, and I think as we talk about inner child work and all that stuff, that those catchwords that people grab onto and bastardize all the time. Fuck me dead.
Yes.
It's very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not putting it down, but mate, fuck me. It's the catchwords that give me the shits.
Yes.
And I think it's I think the voice from you work with regards to where you're actually at the time, and having an appreciation and being grateful. I think people they do understand gratefulness, but I don't think they really do until you actually get into a point of life-threatening situations that you actually feel good. But we lose that again because that's where we're thinking. But if you get up in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, I always say, if you get up in the morning and say, I'm grateful for getting up this morning and breathing, you're halfway there.
Yes.
And you go from there. So pretty much I am a teacher by trade, sports teacher by trade. Went back to school at 35, single mate. I've got a 21-year-old. Well, she's 21 next year. I looked after her for 15 years. Went back to uni and all those kind of things. But before that, I was doing massage myotherapy, and I was in the health field. But again, where you're at, where I was mentally and spiritually was nowhere near where I am now, because I'm still in that people pleasing sort of thing. So when I had the breakdown, and then it sort of came, everything came forth. So I saw that when I was younger, I didn't really have the best life. I was always living in fear, living in anxiety, living with cortisol levels, had lots of experiences where my subconscious was programmed through the experiences that I had, being publicly embarrassed, being, hurt physically, emotionally, and spiritually in that way, not understood, being controlled. Surprised I'm fucking sane as I am. So I went through that, had noticed I had anxiety attacks up until the age of 16. Sort of lost it for actually 18. Then I stopped after. Anyway, then it came back before the awakening process started. Oh my God, I'm having it again. Then I started understanding all that. So I went through about 20 years of doing, massage, myotherapy, running my own business, all those kind of things, but still not getting where I needed to go because I was still people pleasing and all that stuff. I didn't understand that even though I was running my own life, I was still living under the utilization of people pleasing, maybe mainly to the parents type thing. It's all like that. And that means an authority figure. So I had all that. So I still traveled and all that, became a wrestler, did all that, Australian champion, as I'm quite happy to brag about, tag team champion, all that stuff. So I did all that. But then I had the breakdown 2019. And that's when my best mate to this day, he's my mentor now because he keeps me in check.
Yeah.
He'll watch this interview and he'll go, "Okay, mate, this is what we're going to look at." He's as spiritual as we are. He, you know, I don't know what's this. Oh, Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi.
Hmm.
He's my Mr. Miyagi. I'm Daniel LaRusso. All
Awesome.
right. So I went through that process, and now it's a case of having, when you read the book, it's learning about myself and what's happening with me, and what actually happened, and how my subconscious was programming, and how I talk to people, how my energy was getting zapped, and energy vampires and fucking narcissists, and how to react to people. But at the end of the day, I was a people pleaser. I was a fucking simp. I didn't know how to. I didn't have any boundaries. I was basically crawling for opportunity where I didn't have the strength within myself. Now I move into that and teaching those philosophies within myself now, that I learned to other people. That's just a summary, a quick summary.
I love it. I love it. This is why we get along so well. And I have a Mr. Miyagi as well. Her name is Michelle.
Yeah.
We all need one,
Oh,
right?
but thank you so much. It's been bloody amazing, eh?
It's
Here's an
been
Australian slang for you.
phenomenal. It really has. It's been phenomenal. This is the best way to spend the holiday.
Oh, bloody oath. Bloody oath.
A
So, yeah,
complete
well,
stranger across the world, totally on my vibe.
fantastic. I love it.